Alright, it looks like the doctors today are reduced to one person being on the stage. You don't have the other four on the panel. I forgot all their names except for Travis's. Right, it's Travis Stewart. But anyway, now they got only one guy on the stage. Right? I don't know if that's cost reduction or something. Right. But he's talking to Bobby Brown today, the cosmetic empire, right, person. Right, and talking about how him and Strahan were introduced as friends, and his fiance was on earlier, Tracy. But anyway, now another problem men in the South don't understand is not all gay people are trying to have sex with everybody, right? Well, that's another problem, right? They're afraid to even be friends with a gay person, right? It's their homophobia, right? That's what I mean, right? Now, if you can't be friends with a person because of their sexual identity, you're not being a friend, but a predator, right? You're also forcing the person who's dealing with it in their early puberty stages to either come out of the closet or fight you. See, I had to fight people over it, tell them that I'm just waiting for the right woman, right? See, there's a difference there too. I don't know. Now, like I said, some of this should be made up, right? Like with the girl in the salon, right? Unless she's trying to protect her dad and slept with me because I thought she was 15, right? But told me she was 37. Why would she do that? To blackmail me or something? I don't know. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know what actually happened. Right, right. And just because you call yourself Texas fish, don't mean you're not a Georgia fish. You're just like every other sicko in Georgia, right? Raised in a religious household who don't understand what Jesus is saying throughout the whole Bible. You show yourself certain scriptures like Christian Fellowship Church and the churches I was brought up in, but you don't really understand the whole Bible because A, it's written in Hebrew. B, you have to kind of add a few words here and there to make it make some sense. And C, you can take it out of context. Now, if I say, not yet touch me, for I have not ascended to my Father in heaven, am I saying you can't touch me at all or not yet? If they grabbed him by the feet the second time they saw him, right? Now, if you're Mary Magdalene, right, either way, you're gonna get someone to come and see with you if you saw Jesus at all, right? Right. After you see him, right? According to Luke, John, right? I'm sorry, John, right? Um, she got Mary first, right? Who? His mother. Two held him by the feet, held him by the feet. They were allowed to then touch him. He didn't want her to touch him yet, no. In her enthusiasm, maybe, no. He was giving her some time to adjust to him being resurrected from the dead, right? to And that's kind of the point there. That's what you're missing. Right? See, because if they grabbed him by the feet in Matthew, he didn't mean she couldn't touch him at all. But not yet touch me, for I have not ascended to my Father in heaven, kind of makes sense if you read it as it's written in the Greek. Right. Not yet is first. But if you say, it's where you put the not yet. Touch me not, for I have not yet ascended to my Father in heaven or something. You're saying something different there. Right, right.
A year. That's 2 jumbo jets crashing every
Mm-hmm.
single day, and yet not one news story or warning. And that doesn't even count birth defects or nursing home injuries. In times like these, you can count on us, Morgan and Morgan. If you're eligible for Medicare, you can get more with the WellCare
Now
benefit.
I'll go read it from King James first, right?
More than original Medicare. More plans, more options, more choices.
And that's also a Jewish thing about touching the dead anyway, not a Christian thing, right? As well. Mm-hmm.
More coverage with extra benefits like dental, vision, hearing, prescription drugs with free home delivery, plus free transportation to your doctor or pharmacy.
Touch me not, for I have not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascend unto my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. Right. But let's go to the passage in the Greek. I know.
Call now. We can answer your questions and help you enroll over the phone. Call 1-877-424-1214. After being away from the office due to COVID-19 and the pandemic, workplaces are slowly beginning to allow employees to return back to work. Here to help us safely go back to the office is regular contributor to the Huffington Post and business productivity expert, Adriana Girdler. Adriana, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
All right, so let's jump right in. What do people need to know in order to go back to work in a safe manner?
All right, do not touch me. Not yet. Do not me touch, not yet. For I have
Okay, so what should the individual
ascended to the Father of me.
Particularly when you're at the office in public spaces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those droplets really do travel, and you want to ensure you're infected. And
Go but to the brethren of me, and say to them, I ascend to the Father of me, and the Father of you, and the God of me, and the God of you. Comes Mary the Magdalene, bringing word to the disciples that she has seen the Lord, and these things he told her. Mm-hmm. Do not me touch, not yet. For I have ascended to the Father of me. Right. Go but to the brethren of me, and say to them, I ascend to the Father of me, and the Father of you. Right. And the God of me, and the God of you. Do you hear a difference? Right.
Okay, so your office is
Well, it's where they're putting the not yet, right? Touch me not yet, not yet. For I have ascended to the Father of me, right? Go but to the brothers of me, and say to them, I ascend to the Father of me, and the Father of you, and the God of me, and the God of you. Come Mary the Magdalene, bringing word to the disciples that she has seen the Lord, and these things he said to her. He told her, right? Alright, so what does that sound different? A lot different, right?
You also really want to take a look at educating your employees too, distributing.
So if you read it from King James, though, it almost sounds like he's telling her not to touch you, right?
The idea that they call them landing pads. The idea that maybe you don't return to a standard
Innocent read, innocent read.
shared by others, because that means you're less likely to have
touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to the Father, but go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascend unto my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God.
How do we get that sort of hotel concept? So there's a lot of value to that. Just bring what you need and gives you flexibility. And when you have that flexibility, also productivity too, because you can just
Now, where are they messing up? For I am not yet. See, they're putting the not yet before the sentence structure, especially the I am, right? He don't even say I am. I know. No. He says, not yet, for I have ascended to the Father of me. And, mhm. That can also mean not yet, for I have not yet ascended to the Father of me. Right. Another way to say it, right? In English, right? Do not touch me. Do not me touch. For I have not yet ascended to the Father of me. Right. But does that mean at all, right? Mm-hmm. That's another question, right? Mm-hmm. Plus, she was one witness, right? Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
My grandfather used to say, a man's only as good as his word.
I want you to use my words against me. You can say, Lindsey Graham said, let's let the next president make that nomination.
Lindsey Graham is just lying, not even trying to hide it from you. Lying openly. After 25
Alright,
years
in
Washington,
28:9 we read, and as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them, saying, all hail. And they came and held him by the feet and worshipped him. Right. Then said Jesus unto them, be not afraid. Go tell my brethren that they go into Galilee, and there shall they see me. Right.
Is one of the most frightening things. And then I hear that David Perdue is in Washington, D.C., trying to take away health insurance in the middle of a pandemic.
Purdue sides with insurance companies, not Georgians like me.
David Perdue, shame on you.
SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. If you have or are eligible for Medicaid, please listen. You may be
So obviously, Jesus ain't meaning, something permanent, but temporary either way. Because, see, it's also about Jewish taboos about touching the dead, too, right? But what if you're resurrected from the dead? Can they touch you then? You see what I mean?
benefits like free over-the-counter healthcare, free transportation, free gym membership, and home-delivered meals. Get more access to care with WellCare's telehealth services, including online doctor visits and a 24-hour nurse advice line. WellCare's contract with Medicare to provide plans that may be perfect for you. Call 1-877-424-1280. That's
So why wouldn't he let the single Mary touch him? But when she went and got Mary, the mother of James or Josie, who is also Jesus' mom, by the way, his brothers. But the Catholics denied Jesus had brothers and sisters, making Mary an Immaculate Virgin. No. She was a normal mother, right? Married to Joseph. Now, he really got a hold of that after Jesus was born. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, because of Catholics, get confused. Nothing personal against the Catholics, but some of your doctrine ain't in the Bible. The way you're saying it. I know it ain't. So then you're teaching for doctrine what? Men's understanding of doctrine. Can you do that? Apparently, yes. You can do that. For 1,675 years since Constantine, you've been teaching a false doctrine, trying to make it true. Oh, no. And once you do that, you're breaking from the true doctrine, right? And guess what? You can do that with an emperor who's ruling all of the world. You get that too? Oh, no. And what that means, right? Everybody wants to rule the world. The quote. Tears for Fears there. I know. But see, you can quote them. That's the point. It's a song lyric, right? Well, that's true. It's a truth. See, if it's a truth, you can teach the song and educate people in what the song is saying, right? See, you're forgetting some of the copyright laws are grounded in book copyright law. And what it means, music is educational, even if you edit some of the material into the piece, right? Once you complete the piece should be able to be taught how you did it for the radio. Like I'm trying to do, right? So that's what I'm teaching you, right? How fair use really is supposed to work with copyright law. Especially musical copyright law, where they're trying to not let us do it, right? At all. I know. Well, you can't do that with musical copyright. You can't do it differently than book copyright, because both can be written down. You can read sheet music, dummy. Right. So when you teach someone to play a chord or play something on the guitar or the piano, right? And again, that's educating them in how to play the piece, right? And it works the same if it's on the radio or if it's in public domain, right? The difference would be the percentage you can use is like 10% for radio, and public domain you can teach the whole song, right? That's what I'm telling you, right? Now, of course, the artist owns 90% of their material, right? That's also the total material, right? They put out, right? So if you put out a whole album, I could use one song for educational purposes on that album, right? Yeah. Now, if I'm teaching you how to perform the piece, even, of course, I gotta show you my practice as well as the final performance, right? And it's supposed to get better too, right? To where when I finally perform it, it sounds like it does on the radio. That's the point to it all. Now, I also don't have all the instruments, so, like I said, if I do a piece, right, and it's educational, right, and again, right, that's the whole point to it all, right? It's educational, right? And that's what fair use is for. So, see, you're flooding the market with so much music, most people like me can't even get out their stuff, right? Because I don't have the money for it, right? Or I'm not popular because they're throwing the stepdaughter thing in my face that I even have one, right? That I married her mother. I didn't even meet the child till August. I married her mother in February. I could have only been around her 1 to 4 days, and then I moved back to base because my wife left me in Tennessee. I know. Having whatever issue she was having with me not communicating well, and left me stranded, right? On the side of the road in a freaking gas station, right? So again, I had to deal with that suddenly. I didn't have a whole lot of money. Maybe enough, maybe 10 or 20, if I was lucky, right? And again, so she left me stranded without really explaining why, and anything she says don't make sense. I know it don't. You know? It just seems like she was more concerned with whatever her needs were than mine, right? And the real problem was, I didn't find out till later some of the details. Like, she had applied for 2 weeks leave. Well, I hadn't. I was in Bethesda, Maryland for 2 weeks because I went through a manic phase of bipolarism, right? Where I was doing what they call speaking in an unknown tongue, I guess, right? Well, I couldn't communicate. I was under such stress, and I couldn't say nothing for a while. And my mouth was just, my teeth were just chattering together, kind of, right? And you can't really say that, and I couldn't really say that, right? So they put me in the ward for 2 weeks. Well, how am I supposed to apply for leave when I don't even know what's going on in Daphne's life that 2 weeks either? Well, that's the real problem there. I didn't apply for leave, right? And she might have, but didn't tell me I needed to do that, and went off thinking she had the full 2 weeks, but I didn't. I know. So I'm flying through the mountains like I got to be back by Monday. Which, had we talked about it more, could have been brought out more then. But like I said, right, she, I don't know what the hell's going on. I just know she's up for sure in Tennessee. So when she got back, I took the clouds. I don't know what's going on. I just, right, all confused, right. All right, then I moved back to base 5 to 8 days later, somewhere around there, right? And that's all I know, right? Then for 11 years, I start having the VA issue and write my blogs in 2005, right? But that's 6 years after SVU's been on. So I'll say in an odd statement, after admitting I was sleeping on the couch again, I could have molested my stepdaughter, but didn't. And shame on you, account. Use that to attack me. I know. But what does that say? Nothing. Just being in her proximity, I could have done something stupid, but didn't. And right. Another problem we have is we assume to know what something means. Now, if you add too many not yets to that, right? Or he didn't want to touch her because it was just her, right? Whatever the reasons were, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established. One person could have touched him at the time, but it wouldn't have been a solid testimony. But when you went and got his mother, right, and they both held him by the feet, right, in Matthew, right. See, this is unfolding in a normal day too, right? They're going back and forth to the tomb, right? All that, right? He appears to Mary first, and then Peter later on, and then the 2 in the country, whatever. He walks with them, right? To their destination and stays for a little bit, right? But they don't recognize him, right? Either, like Mark said, he's in a different form, or, they can't even recognize him for some reason, right? Until the end, where after he explains it to them through the scriptures, right? Who all he is, right? Now, all he had also was the Old Testament, not the New yet. The New wasn't written until during the 1st century, right? Which is 0 to 100, by the way. Now, what you're doing there, though, is you're taking a day's event, right, and rushing through it by the different accounts, but not lining them up accurately either. So the first one should be what you read in John, right? Then, you got to work it out what Mary did next, which might go to Matthew, right? Then in Luke, it mentions the 2 in the country, and Mark does too, and also confirms that Mary saw him first and all that, right? Out of whom he cast 7 devils, whatever that means. Right. So Luke confirms that too, right? in a different passage, right? So again, you got to realize that each person is telling something specific they remember about that day he resurrected, right? But it's in a different order, and if you read it out of order, you got to figure out which testimony happened first. John's, right? Mary went to the tomb, did not see Jesus in the tomb, and went back and right. Now the rest kind of seems fantastic, right? Right? Kind of like, they don't know how the stone was removed, right? So they're theorizing that the angel of the Lord descended, right? Right? You see what I mean? Exactly, right. And roll back the tomb, right? To raise Jesus from the dead. So he is the angel of the Lord as well. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, see, there's two angels. The angel of death, who you also call the Grim Reaper, who you also call Satan, the devil, right? Call him what you want, all right? He's the one that brought about our deaths, right? And causes us to die and suffer and no pain, all right? Not God and Jesus, right? And that's why the roses has the thorn. Every rose has its thorn. To quote Bret Michaels, right? Just like every night has its thorn. Just like every cowboy sees a sad song. But they didn't always have thorns. That's a result of the sin of Eden, right? Something made them develop thorns in their DNA. But if there's such a thing as a thornless rose, right? Whatever Satan did in Eden made the rose become thorny. But before it might not have been thorny. Right? There was no thorny rose. Uh-oh. Now, don't confuse, again, true androgyny with being gay or straight either. Now, if you feel gay growing up, that's between you and yourself, right? Right. If you feel straight, right, you can tell people that too, right? But no one can tell you how you feel either way. Even if they're guessing you feel gay, they're guessing, right? Even if they're right. Now, another thing is, if they're wrong, okay, you just tell them, look, I'm straight, leave me the hell alone. Leave me the hell alone, right? Mind your own damn business. Right? Don't rain on my parade, whatever I am, right? Gay or straight. And that's another thing. A gay person, if they're in the closet, they're in the closet because of phobias about being gay, right? They're in the closet for a reason. You're trying to out them, right? Now, some people, like I said, you think they match certain stereotypes, right? And are gay. No. Some people know more about being male and female than you do, right? For instance, we're all mom and dad through the egg and the sperm, right? Do you know that? Or do you deny that, right? Even just recently, an idiot admitted that I was right in saying that the whole time. And Texas fish, he's calling himself now, right? Okay. Who are you, Michael Mike's brother-in-law? He's from Texas, too. I know. But it's not gay to not try to have sex with your sister when she's married to another man. You just don't do that. And that's why I'm messing with it, right? I'm not saying I even remember something like that ever happening with Renee. I don't even remember, anything weird happening around her. Though I did see her maybe early in the morning rubbing the pillow or laying on top of it. Something like that. But I would just say, no, don't do that, Renee. Stop doing that, Renee. Mhm. That's all. That's all. But again, I'm also trying to be kind of a comedic type character, trying to get people to laugh and not be so self-righteous, right? And want to kill everybody who's different than them. Even gay people have a right to life, don't you think? The same grace that saves you saves them, right? Even while they're sinning too. No. While you are yet sinners, Christ died for you. But you don't apply that to gay people. Why not? It don't apply to them too. They're not a sinner like you are. They're a different kind of sinner. No, a sinner is a sinner, right? And a saint is a saint. And really, you're not neither sinner nor saint. Let's be honest, right? Another thing is, you were born in a sinful world where Satan did something with Adam and Eve in Eden, even if you want to pretend it was biting into an apple, right? Which is the basics of the story, right? Now, you know, though, when you eat a bad piece of fruit, you don't suddenly become aware you're naked. Even if you're having sex with the piece of fruit, that's kind of weird, but okay. I've seen that in some of the crazy adult sites I go to. Some guys pounding a freaking grapefruit or something. I didn't see that in a recent movie. Where it messed it up. Either. But it ain't gonna make you aware and be ashamed of being naked, right? But I do know something that can. Rough sex, even if it's consensual. Where you're doing the male in the only hole the male has, right? And you start doing it how? Rough. Almost to hurt him. Alright. You see where I'm going with that? Right. And you're not doing it in love. You're doing it to hurt him, punish him. Right, for it. And it's not until it gets to him you really try to ram it home. The whole point to that was it was more the warning for the man not to eat of the tree's fruit than the woman. And too. But see, all that would show him is it feels the same in both holes, top and bottom of Satan, right? See.